Hi, okay, so let's continue on with the authentication and authorization. Okay. As I promised, we will be using super base authorization so that it would tie to the low level securities that it have. So we're going to do a simple thing on it. If you want to do to know more about super authorization, just go to your Superbase and go to API doc right here. Okay, and actually that's not what I'm looking for. Um, Well, I just need the documentation. So basically, let's go to Superbase, go to doc, and go to AUTH. So this is actually what I'm looking for. Okay, so here will give you an overview of authorization in Superbase. Basically, it's based on JWT or JSON Web Token. So Superbase actually has this library that create and maintain the JWT token for you. And once you log in, it also pass this back to the database, the back end as well, so that you know that your user is not authenticated or already authenticated and with user ID and all those stuff, so that you can configure your vulnerable security properly. We're going to do a very basic thing though in this class. Okay, if you need more detail, um, you're going to have to go and read on the documentation. It actually can do a lot of things. So if you want social authorization, you can use this to help you as well. It able to handle a lot of social media authentication. If you don't want to do this, basically for the free plan, can't remember how much is allow you, but it definitely enough for our project. But if you actually going to use this in real life, definitely you're gonna have to pay them. If you don't want to do to use the authentication, basically you're going to handle this JSON Web Token yourself. I can post tutorial video for you guys in that case if you want to do the authentication yourself. But the step is pretty much the same. You need to authenticate to check that that's the user. This person is the real user in your system, and then you have to perform authorization, which you're going to this is going to base on your system. You're going to say whether you allow this particular user to do particular operation or not. Okay. If you want the basic stuff, so here there's a guide, so basically, on what you need to do for doing the authorization. Okay, we're actually going to jump to this login and sign up. So basically, I'm going to show you because we already create Superbase client already. Okay, and I'm going to do this very simple authentication. So we're going to do password, email, and password authentication, and I'm going to disable the confirmation email as well, just to simplify things. Okay, so let me show you where this authentication work. So if you go to your project, so just go to this authentication section. So this is authentication system based that's going to be based on your project. So it's going to be able to deal with all your table there. Okay, and you can configure a few things in here, like these are the policy. You would notice that these are the policy on your table, and this is actually going to tie up to your authentication. You have sign in and provider. So there's a few authentication provider that you can use, that you can enable and disable. There's some session configuration that you can configure here and stuff. Okay, we're going to go back to user here. So you can add a fake user to the system if you like. For example, here I just add to user just to match the two librarian that I have. If you want to do that, just do add user and create new user. And then you can put in any user information. For example, my user at test.com and then PASS1234. I'm going to use this for all of my user. And if you do auto confirm user, then we don't have to deal with the confirmation. This is because I'm going to use all the fake email for my user. So I'm going to disable this password, this email confirmation. So here you will notice it show up. Actually, if you and you would notice that, hey, you don't see you don't see the password in here. It's actually kept even from you. So you're going to have to remember the user password that you put in yourself. Okay, you don't even know what that password is. You can change the email. You can reset the password, but you won't know what that password is. Okay, so this is pretty secure. Also, we're going to go to provider just to disable. Um, we go to provider here. You will notice that I actually click on this user. And then I just realized that hey, this may be a good place for you. So if you don't want that user anymore, you can do delete user or you can ban. Okay, don't do that unintentionally. Okay, let's go back to sign in provider. So this is we're going to go and find email. So click on it. Okay. And this is where you do configuration on email. Actually pretty not that the thing I'm looking for pretty not here, but might be a good thing to show you. If you want to set up stuff about email provider, you can go here. Um, Here, this is actually where I'm looking for. So here, once you go in sign in slash provider, look at Superbase auth, you will see user sign up. By default, this confirm email is going to be looking this way. So it's enabled because normally when people sign in, you pretty need them to confirm just to avoid people playing with sign up. But since we are doing fake emails, so I'm going to disable this. Okay. And if your save chain is enabled, you pretty should click on it. Mine is just notice that this is the same configuration I did before, so it doesn't allow me to save. So make sure that your confirmed email is disabled and you save the change. Okay, and then we're going to go back to our project. Let me show you the code that we're going to be important for us. Actually, if you look at, I was turning on, yeah, I think right here. Okay, actually, I think there's a page. I think right here, getting started and next.js. If you click on this, this is going to give you a short command that you can use for that will be important for doing stuff. For example, setting up there. Might probably get to the same page anyway. So here, there will be a part of code that let you know how you do stuff like sign in, sign out. So that add user info, that add user info, this just return user info. Give me a sec. Um, this just gave me too much information, basically. SQL editor. Nope, not what I'm looking for. Server side handling. Mm, there's a flow. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, here, create this. Oh, here. It actually hidden in here. So here's the code that you would need to do sign up. Okay, and to do login. So let me show you what happened for each. So basically, when you sign up, what you need, basically you need email and password. And then for other information, we can set later, or we can link this to our table. And if they just sign in, we just reconnect them to the profile page, and then we let them set their other information in our information table. Okay, or we can have them log in, and again the information that we need is again the email and the password. And you would notice that here you will see this revalidate part. So basically when you use Next.js, sometimes they keep caches on the path. We do this revalidate path just to tell Next.js that please just clear the cache for me. And once we redirect to slash, it will just recompute stuff for us. So basically, if you already log in the user or log out the user, it won't keep the previous information so that we will see the updated information. Okay, before we get there, let me just show you this sign in, sign up, logout, and also what we have to deal with the database just to prepare it before we get to the real stuff. Okay, so here we have login. So again, you notice that I like this. I'm going to show you with the API endpoint, just to show you how this log in and log out work, because we don't have to deal with the front end. That's pretty much why I like this. Okay. So the first stuff we're going to do is we're going to create a folder called auth. Um, hopefully that's a folder, right? And I'm going to do login. I'm going to do logout. So we're going to make the endpoint for all of these. Is sign up. Oops. And all these we will need a router.ts, which I'm going to be a bad person, just copy all this in. And for some reason it doesn't like my cleared client, so let me do this again. And I'm going to do this. Nope, it's too smart. So let me delete that. Okay, so now each path have the base. So we're going to start with sign up first. So basically what we're doing here is that we're going to add a fake user information into fake user information into the server. Okay. So sign up doesn't mean it's automatically sign in. It will just create a user in that auth database that you've seen before. Okay. So here we're going to do similar thing. Okay, so we need to create Superbase client. Then we're going to create a data. This is going to be an object, and you need to set email. So I'm going to do o at gmail.com, which is obviously fake. That's why we don't send authentication or leave confirmation email. And then we need password, which I told you I'm going to use pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 6 of them. Okay. Yeah, this is totally not secure. Okay. But normally you won't see the password this way because we're going to have the user type into the form with the password input type, the dot stuff, and then we pass it in as a form data. So yeah, nobody going to be able to see that information. Later on, what we're going to do is we're going to call a function from authentication. So if it gave us an error, that means there's something wrong. So we're going to await superbase.auth. So that the library that's going to do authentication for us. Okay, and when you sign up, you need to give it the data. If there's a data, we're going to say that is there's an error signing up. Okay, and we're going to give the error message and the status. If we log in successfully, I'm just going to do log at this point. In the real world, like in our real page, we might just kick the user to the profile page so that they can update their profile and stuff. Um, or if it's the first time, or we can actually have a larger page where you have a form that need more information than email and password, and then you just have the user add the information into the table right here. Okay, but at this point, I'm just going to do just the log and then do status 200. Okay, so what this does is just is supposed to create a table into the data into our database. I just have it somewhere around here. Let's just do it again. Okay, so it's going to add the table into this, a user into this table. So let's try that. Oh, not found. API. Still no. Wrong paste. API should be in front. Sorry, guys. There. Okay, so now we see status 200. We see that we not logged in successfully. Where is that login successfully? Why did I say login successfully? Um, that's supposed to be sign up successfully, but anyway. So if we go to our database and do a refresh, This refresh should be fine. So you notice this O, it's showing up here. Last signing in. It actually signed me in automatically. Okay. Um, so actually at this point, I think if I look for user, it actually might already show up. Okay. So just to see, um, I'm going to use this login just to test it. Okay. So basically, um, once you finish, once you finish the authentication, you can use this auth.get data, just to see if the users already exist or not. Um, so normally you would do this, while you are, basically, before getting on into the page, or you're going to go to a page where you need to protect it. So you're going to check if the user is already logged in or not. If not, you kick it somewhere else. We're going to do this as, more, let's say, more, special thing called middleware, but let's wait for that a little bit. So, but at this point, we're going to try thing. Okay. So, let's say that, so we have this cookie store. Um, so let me try. So, here, if you want to get the user, okay. So cons, data. So you get information from the user. You get information here from the user. So you can see get session. That means if there's already session or not. But session actually was retrieved from cookie, so it's not safe. So normally you would do get user. So it will get current user detail, if then existing session. So obviously if there's no session, this doesn't exist as well. This actually going to make a network request with auth server just to make sure that the value, the JWT there, is actually still valid. So it will be safer. So we can check that. If not user, we're going to do console.log. Going to do console.log no user. And let's see. Okay. And if there's a user, we will just log that user login. Okay, this one more. Too much. Okay. So let's try this. This is in the login route. So I basically should not do this in this route because I'm going to have to fix this, but I just want to test that one side up. So you would notice that one if you sign up properly, actually Superbase actually log the user in automatically. This is because I just bypass the email confirmation as well. Okay, so what if we don't come from the sign up? If we don't come from the sign up process, so how do we have the user sign in or log in? So the process is pretty similar. Okay, so actually that sign up and login, we're going to keep using it. Okay, so let me go back to the yeah, we actually at this at a good point. I'm going to go to a route login, and then um, I'm going to make the proper login code. So actually, this is already in the right place. Okay, so let's start implementing the login process. So basically, instead of getting user, um, we're going to do similar thing to sign up. So when you do the login, you also need the data. So obviously, just like last time, okay, we pretty not going to have the data hard code. We're going to get it from form data. Um, and what we're going to do instead is we're going to do actually let me get the sign up code here because this is match what I want to do better. Okay, so here instead of sign up to log in we're going to use function sign in with password instead, and then you pass the data to it. Okay, and we just still doing the same thing. Now this one is login. So actually let me show you something first. So here if I just place 7, okay, um if I just place 7 here, which mean I gave it the wrong password. So let's try doing this. So you get this error back called invalid login credential. So this is something that you might want to check. So it go into this part. So when you actually do the actual login, you're going to check if there's error or not. If there's an error, what do we do? Most of the time we just kick it back to the login page. Let the user try again. Or you might kick him to the error page saying that there's something wrong and please try again. Something like that. Okay, so now let's put in the correct email address. Let's wait. I think it's still doing stuff. Yeah, so now login successfully. um not that one here. So this what authentication in Superbase do for us. So this is for authentication. You have a way to know that whether the user that trying to log in is the person he say he is or not. With the previous course, when we do get user, you would be able to use this function from this client Superbase auth. You can get the user from Superbase and check his information all the time. So that what we're going to do with authentication. Okay, so normally you would have public route and protect route. Okay, so for example here, if I go back to 3000 again, this is my public route. Everybody should be able to see it. Oh, and this is one thing I forgot to show you. You would notice that, hey, where's all my book? Can you guess what happened here? The problem is that now our user is authenticated. This is actually a good sign that we do authentication properly and our row level security works. The reason is because if you remember when I create the table, all the policy that I made, I just allow select to anonymous, and actually it's going to be very obedient and just only allow access to anonymous. So now that we authenticated, we cannot see it. So you're going to have to fix that policy. Okay. So add the target roles, just add authenticated. And sorry guys, we're gonna have to do this to all our table that's related. So at this point, we do author, we do book, okay, authenticated. Book author, yes, might need it. Authenticated. Um, Book category, we don't use it at this point. I'm just going to skip this. Just because I'm lazy. You can add them in if you have time. So borrow stat. I don't need it at the time. Category invitation librarian. Um. Okay, I think I should be alright. So here if I do refresh again, now it show up because we already asked the user to be able to the authenticated user to be able to view the information. Okay, so so that we don't allow the view to anonymous but not authenticated user. Okay, I think I missed one. Because here not show up yet. And this, if you remember, this is the view. The view will follow the policy of all the table is used. So here I have order books, book order, book category, book copy. What? Um, borrow stat. Because here borrow stat is the main table that give us the data. So let's go back. Okay, now it's come back. So here that's a proof that we do our low level policy properly, although it's too strict. Okay. Okay, so now there will be a part that you want to protect and the part that you don't want to protect. So for example, here all these are public for us, so we don't really care. But if you wanted to go to something like profile, you might want to protect it, or like you might want to have some other page, like for example for librarian. For example, here if it's a librarian, you can have like edit button showing up, and it can go to a page to add book information that's only available to authorized user. Okay, so in order to protect a path, we're going to use the suggest mechanism by Superbase. So actually, I'm going to show you where the code is so that you don't have to actually type everything. So basically, in Next, their mechanism called middleware. So this middleware going to intercept all the call, and you can ask it to do something before it process your route. Okay. The way you do middleware is that you just create a new file called middleware.ts. That pretty much it. And you're going to create a class and export it. So right here you do export function and then you receive requests from next request. I thought it's going to help me. Not edit type. Nope. Okay. I will just import it. Okay, so import type. Oh, okay. It pretty try to help me if I don't make a typo. Okay. Here I will just show you how this works. I want to show you how this works. So I will just say that proxy is working here. So basically, if you don't make any special configuration or other code that you fixes, every time that you are next accessing a route, it's going to do what in the middleware first. Okay, so I'm going to basically click here. You will notice that this is showing up. Actually, a lot of this is showing up because it's creating or accessing the view, the component. So notice that. So this is a way to intercept how Next is actually accessing the data, and you would notice sometimes it doesn't um, show stuff that proxy is working. This is because if it's calling the cache, it's not loading our component again. So that's why you don't see that proxy is working. Okay, that's why we do that validation when we log in or log out. Okay, so what do we do with this? Most of the time, what do we do with the middleware is that you're going to break your stuff into protect and unprotected part. And for the protected part, you're going to ask next the Superbase authentication whether there's already a user or not. If there's already a user, then you let them use the web, and you can ask for the user information to do to check for the roles and the authorized like whether this person can do something or not. If he's not authentic, if he's not authenticated yet, most of the time it's just kicking back to the login page. And with this middleware, you don't have to add the code for checking in into every single page. Okay, you can just have this middleware intercept and do all the work for you. Okay, so we're going to use the same code as this Superbase gave us here, and then we modify it later. Okay, so here, so basically this code, this middleware, going to check for every single part. Oh, it's not good. I actually don't like this. Let me see. So let's do this one by one, okay? Um, I don't have that yet. So that's why it's complaining right now. And the last part here, this going to make the configuration so that it won't match every single part. It will so with this matcher, this thing called matcher. So the thing that would work with this config. Okay. The thing that work with this going to be only I don't want to be on the same line. Only the part that match the measure here. So let me see. Let me organize this properly. Okay, so that's the actual part. So at the documentation said, it's going to match every single part that is not the image file, not the statics. And if you have something that you don't want this to match as well, you can add the the pattern here. Or if you have only a few parts, you can actually when it match you just can just add the condition here as well. Okay, so here it asks for update session from condition this to lib superbit middleware. Okay, so because they made this, they just call it middleware as well. But basically this is the code that they have here that basically does okay, that's the check up. If you remember, it will use similar code that I did before, so it will do get user, and it just does a check that if this is not in the login page or authorization page or error, they're going to kick people back to the login page. So that's it, and then it's just return super bit this one. So this is their process. So that's why there's a comment that don't forget to return it in this function. Yeah, I'm going to change the key a little bit because they just use different key than mine. So I have these two key. So let me compare them. So that should be the same, and then this should be here. That's pretty much it. Okay. So right now we are just using out of the box middleware step for them. So right now if we go back, um, can resolve lib service middleware. So don't like it. So I think I did something wrong with the ad size set up with this project. So that's why I need to use like the relative part all the time. So I will fix that later. So here you would notice that now we can do all the part right now because um, our proxy actually thought that um, we have the user already logged in. It a little slower when we step sometimes because before this is just a basic like it just it doesn't call anything. So now every time we call it go through database and it do the revalidation with this middleware. So just to show you that what would happen if we don't have the user login. So right now we actually have the user already logged in because we just play with the sign up and the login stuff. So let's go to auth and remember the last one that we haven't implemented yet. So let's try kicking people out. So if you when you do logout, again it's the same not same. It's similar to login. So there's a function in superbase.auth that you can call, and you don't need the user data anymore because it would be weird, right? If you need user data to log out. Okay, so we can just say that here const error dot sign out. There. It doesn't need anything from you. So again, we're going to check the error and say that if there's an error, we cannot lock the user out, which is usually never happen. Most of the time, there's no way you cannot lock user out. Okay, and I will just do else. And also, what we already should do as well is we're going to do revalidate part with slash and layout. So just revalidate this cache all the way. And I will just do status 200. Okay. So, because we don't have the logout button, so we're going to call it this way. API. So now people is already logging out. Because I just revalidate part. I didn't direct the user to anywhere. But now if we go back to the front page, you would notice that because of the middleware, see, proxies, it kicking us out. So now you can't do anything except login. That's the only thing you can do now, which is actually not good. Okay. So next in the next video, we're going to try to make this scheme match our application. So for this, I'm going to stop the video right here. What you should do is to read up on this documentation. Okay. But now that we have the process of logging in, logging out, signing up the user. We know how to retrieve the user information. So at the middleware here, basically just do something similar to this. Here, get user. That's going to give you the user where you can ask for the user information right here. So you can ask for ID, email and stuff. So usually we just do ID and email. And since all the role level authentication going to be tied to this user from this auth table, so we're gonna have to modify our user table a little bit to include this ID, so that if we're going to want to make a policy that based on the user, we can do that. Okay, see you guys again in the next video. Bye.